Well, we didn't have a lot of data out this week, but we did have some concerning inflation, and inflation is nowhere to be seen, and some concerning the health of the economy. Unemployment claims, weekly unemployment claims went up, and the 4 week average is up. And most of the statistics we got this week do not give you any pause as far as, gee, we're on a turn and things are looking up. No, there were the numbers that we did receive. There wasn't a lot, but what we did receive was on the weaker side, and yet the market pretty much had a decent week. Why? Because everything is focused on Greece or Europe, and there's rumors that the central banks around the world are ready to step in because Greek has elections this year. So there is rumors and talk and some reports that all the central banks are prepared for a Greek vote that indicates either they're going to leave the EU or they're going to have some kind of coalition government and work within the EU. I have a contact that lived in Greece for the last 7 or 8 months, and he feels that it's very possible that they are going to vote people in who want to stay in the EU as opposed to exit. Remember, last month they had a vote, or 2 months ago, and a lot of politicians were voted out who were supported the austerity and everything else in Greece. So what we're seeing there is maybe a change in attitude because the Greek people might be saying, well, gee, if we get rid of the EU, we want to keep the euro, but we're not going to be able to keep the euro, and we want the money we've been borrowing to keep coming in. And if we vote for the radicals who want to get out of the EU, we won't get that money. Maybe common sense is starting to filter into some thinking there. Greece is a basket case, and who cares about Greece? Well, no one really cares about Greece, if you want to know the truth, except for the Greek people, of course. They care about contagion. They care about, well, what goes on in Greece. If they leave the EU, well, Spain and Italy, and for that matter, some of the stronger companies. Think about that. Sweden and some of the Scandinavian countries, maybe they don't want to be in the EU because their currency, their economies are very good. They're not in any problems, and yet they're being affected by other weak countries' problems who are part of this EU. So there's issues throughout, not just for the weak countries, but for strong countries as well. Be that as it may, we're still looking at a struggling economy here in the United States. And for some reason, I'm not overly worried. I'm not overly optimistic either. Don't get me wrong there. But I'm not overly worried because I know that China, India, Australia, Brazil, everywhere, they are loosening their money. They're trying to spark continued growth. They've lowered their interest rates or their standards to their banking condition standards to try to spur growth. And that generally works. It has worked many times before. It just takes time. So I'm thinking you're still going to have a continuing summer turmoil. But as we get closer to the election, I think the market's going to look much, much better simply because our politicians will work on that fiscal cliff thing. They don't want to be blamed, either side, for not doing something. Well, as the election approaches and we get a new direction for either a new president or a new direction from the existing president, who wants to try something new, we'll get something, okay? And the market is cheap. The stock prices are inexpensive compared to the earnings that's coming in for corporations, compared to their financial condition. Corporations are extremely well financed. Their balance sheets look great. They're just afraid to do anything about it because there's so much uncertainty. So they're just holding on to their cash. That can't last forever. They're going to do something. But they'll do that when they have a clearer picture of what's going on going forward. So we're maintaining a pretty cautious position. We're vested, but we have hedges against the downturn. And long positions we own, or the positions we own, are kind of on the defensive side. So we're going to maintain that for a while.
The Invest Talk Update is a monthly briefing that gives you a snapshot of the past month's market, along with other useful perspective and information. You'll see important articles like Protecting Your Investments Against Scam Artists, excerpts from Steve's book, links to the month's Invest Talk talking points, plus news of upcoming Invest Talk events in your area. And it comes free each month to your email box. To get your subscription, just go to investtalk.com and click on the icon at the top of the page.